Welcome to part 2 of how to recession-proof your life now. Are you as confused as I am when you listen to the news? There's so many financial experts and economic gurus. One says get out of currency, buy gold. The other says sell gold and buy Chinese currency. The next says get your cash out of the bank and buy real estate. Another says sell real estate and keep your cash, be liquid. Well, one thing to remember as you get confused listening to these experts, that they're probably the same guys who are making recommendations which got us into this recession in the first place. And it's time to bring some common sense to this economic discussion by introducing you to my grandfather. Now, he was Morgan Langan the first, and I, by the way, am Morgan Langan Jr. the third. I'm a fourth-generation Montanan. And my grandfather grew up at the turn of the century in a small mining community north of Helena. You know, this was the Wild West. And his father taught him to be very careful in listening to the advice of strangers. And my grandfather loved to quote his dad. Now, I need to paraphrase him a little bit because he tended to be just a little bit crude, but this was his quote. He said, "Opinions are like toilets. Everyone's got one and they all stink." Now, I don't want to offend anybody, yet it's timely to listen to this sage Montana wisdom. I say this because 97% of the advice that we're being given right now by these experts are designed to guide this herd, us, over the cliff. And this is an analogy for how Native Americans hunted buffalo in Montana before the white men of their time nearly exterminated them. Now, the reason I introduce you to my grandfather is that he was one of the lucky ones to really do quite well during the last Great Recession. My grandfather started several businesses. Now, he never became a millionaire, yet it is said that more millionaires were created as a result of that depression than any other time in history. And tough times tend to make people tough. Yet honestly, only a small percentage, less than 3%, actually did well financially during that depression. That means 97% were actually worse off. And when you understand the 3 key mistakes they were making almost 100 years ago, you'll understand that history is repeating itself right now. And the 3 mistakes that are being made right now are: key financial mistake number 1 is that 97% of the population is focusing on the wrong thing. They're focused on money. Key financial mistake number 2 is that 97% of the population is living in fear of our economic future. Key financial mistake number 3 is that 97% of the population is waiting and hoping for an economic recovery. Well, are you ready to join the 3% who will prosper, as my grandfather and many others did, by converting these 3 key financial mistakes into opportunities? Now, golden opportunity that exists for us right now is when we look at money, gold, real estate, and all the tangible assets. We need to realize that they're basically the content of this recession. And to become a member of the elite 3%, you must understand the context in which this content exists. Now, in trying to bring clarity to this concept, I want to bring you to Einstein's law of relativity. You know, most of us are familiar with that, and simply stated, it says that energy equals matter, right? E equals mc squared. Well, when this law is combined with the first law of thermodynamics, energy is never created or destroyed. That's the first law of thermodynamics. We begin to understand what's really occurring here on a global level. Money is never created or destroyed because it's energy. It's basically a highly complex game, the classic bait and switch. You know, the one where you try to follow the shell which is placed under a coin and trying to figure out where it goes. You know, I'm going to share more with you on this fascinating subject, but I want to move on to a key opportunity which exists for us in number 2. And that is that in order to understand the potential offsets that affect us from the fearful thinking that's going on in the marketplace right now, let's look at another proven law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The rest of the market is operating in fear, dishonesty, and greed. You can prosper by using yet an equal and opposite positive energy to offset this negativity. Again, in the next video, I'll show you how to do that. And key opportunity 3 that exists for all of us is, let's bring in Albert Einstein once again, because we have to understand that this herd mentality can be fatal. And he says that the thinking which got us into this situation will not be the same thinking which gets us out of it. So we have all been asking for a change. We understand this economic nightmare needs to come to an end. And allowing Wall Street to control and to show us how to bring it back into existence, I don't think that's going to work. So in my next video, I'm going to share with you how to position yourself and your family so you can prosper by understanding these 3 key mistakes and realizing the potential which exists from taking focused action. Now, this is 100% proprietary information, and no one else is going to share with you the universal law which supersedes the law of attraction in attracting to you the life of your vision. Create the life of your vision. We want you to become one of the elite 3% to prosper during this economic recession. And if you think this information is important, please forward this link to your friends. We've been overwhelmed by the response we've been receiving and the number of people who are really interested in this economic information. And we here at Grace Grove Rejuvenation Center think it's vital to know how to react in these difficult economic times in order to be healthy and prosperous. So on behalf of all of us here, our entire team at Grace Grove Rejuvenation Center, Happy New Year. We'll see you in just a few days with the next video.